Welcome to the Cars and Cancer podcast. This is episode 7. As always, I've got Andy and Darren with me. Good evening, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, are you there, Darren?
Oh no.
Oh no,
He's
gone. He's gone. He's probably got the microphone in his ear or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Oh, there you go. Thanks for joining us.
That's all right, mate. You just said the last session had ended, so I just had to reconnect again. It was trying to kick me out.
Time is money, Darren. Time is money.
Because I was late starter again too, so it's trying to get nasty. Technology, a revenge.
So, we've got some exciting news for next year, haven't we? Which we can't talk about now, but we've got some exciting stuff to talk about on the podcast next year. So you're going to have to keep tuning in to early next year, and hopefully we'll be able to break the news to you. But it's something pretty special.
Big news.
It is big news.
For everyone that listens, I think.
It's absolutely fantastic. When you hear it, you won't believe it. In the meantime, we are trying to spread our wings, and we are trying to embrace new. It's not technology, is it, gents? We're trying to drag ourselves into the modern era, aren't we? So we're creating an Instagram page, and we're creating a Facebook page, which we're probably going to start using next year. We're sort of faffing about with it at the moment, working out how it's going to be. And the idea is just that you guys, you can just have a look on those pages and see what we're doing. So obviously listen to the podcast, you can only hear what we're waffling on about, but then we can back it up with some pictures and some information about stuff we're doing and things we're going to do and places we've been, what Darren's had for tea, all that kind of stuff. We can put it on there and share it with you guys and just put some more information out there for you, which hopefully you'll find useful. Yep. But we are a bunch of buffoons, so it might take us a while to get that sorted, but I'm sure we'll get there, won't we, gents?
Yeah, we will.
I'm hoping I can offload all the technical stuff to you guys. So that'll be your development for next year. It's gone very quiet.
There will be some fantastic viewing coming up.
Fantastic viewing, was that? Yeah. It'll certainly begin with F. Yeah, that's for sure.
Fantastic.
Your Wi-Fi is terrible, Darren.
For people to see. So it'd be well worth everybody just keeping the tuning really.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great viewing for people.
I like how you're telling people to tune in. Yeah. You're telling people to tune in, and you keep tuning out.
Is it?
Yeah.
You're ever so good, I think everything. Is it sound bad then, distorted or?
Well, it just cuts out every now and again. So I think your Wi-Fi might be playing up a little bit, or you're sitting in that concrete bunker again. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just keep talking and we'll just ignore you. How about that? Me and Andy will just have a quiet podcast and you just sit there in the background. That'd be brilliant. Yep, he's gone again.
This is,
Right. Okay. So, what are we going to talk about today, gents? Well, I had a thought that I'd be keen to get your thoughts on. Oh, Darren, please go to the back of the class. Yeah. Okay. Right. Starting again. Yes. So I was thinking about getting your thoughts on and how you dealt with your diagnosis, in particular with your kids. And because I've got a couple of girls, and so I'm thinking back that they were probably around about 11 and 13 at the time when I got diagnosed. And I know, Andy, you've got a couple of younger children, haven't you?
Well, I only had, I didn't have anybody when I first got diagnosed with a brain tumour.
Yeah.
And I hadn't got any kids.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't had any kids then, so, it was the second time, Sienna and Roman on the third time.
Yeah. Do they understand what's going on? I'm not sort of questioning your parenting, but how have you managed it? Have you told them? Are they aware that you're not very well, or how does it quite work?
So Sienna's, Roman doesn't know that much about anything. We talk about it, but Sienna knew obviously I'm not very well.
Mm.
And then she knew this time that I wasn't very well. But Roman's young, so he doesn't really know. But I don't think it affected her that much because obviously she didn't understand it.
Mm.
See, we tried to tell her that what had happened and everything I'm going to go through, but I don't think she could understand what was going on when it did happen. So,
is this kind of normal life for her, do you think? Is this what she thinks life is? Because she doesn't know any different, if that makes sense.
I don't know. Because obviously Kelly's nan died of breast cancer. So it'd be Sienna's big nan, as she used to call her.
Yeah.
So she passed away with breast cancer. So, and I think she kind of understood what had happened there because she got breast cancer. That's why she's not with us anymore. But no, I think I'm quite lucky on the fact that she didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, on this last time I was in, obviously I got one arm with me in a bandage, and they cut my hair dead short, and she come in to see me on the one time with Roman, and she was just like really upset they cut all my hair off.
Yeah.
Because I've got quite longish hair, and then she come in and it was all cut off. She was like, "Oh, I don't like what they've done to your hair, Daddy," because it all fallen out, and so Kelly shaved it all off. And she was more upset about that than me being poorly. It was strange, really. No, it was. I don't think she really understood what was going on. I mean, we tried to tell her, but I think I'm quite lucky in that aspect.
Yeah. I suppose it was like seeing you. That's like it probably had a bigger impact on her because it's visual. It's there, isn't it? She can see what's happening. Whereas when you explain a lot of things to a child, it's a lot of it they don't understand really what you're saying, so they listen to you and they say yes, but they don't kind of know the ins and outs of what it means. I don't think all of it.
No, I don't think they do. But yeah, so I'm quite lucky on that side that she doesn't really know what went on this last time.
No, it's a good thing, really. Yeah.
I mean, like 4 or 5 years, I don't know, whatever the future brings, I think she will kind of understand a bit, that she knows what's going to go on, and bit of a strange one.
I think you're right, Darren, about the visual thing. I think if if Andy, if your leg fell off or something like that, you'd have something to show for it, wouldn't you? And then you could see, oh, Dad's not very well because of this. But when you can't see it, and then all of a sudden she sees her dad with a shaved head, you'd be like, well, why is he having that done? I don't understand. It must be very, very confusing for him. And I mean, and like I say, at the time, my girls were 11 and 13. And that was awful because I was sort of taken into hospital sort of around April time. So the kids are still in school. And, until I got the diagnosis, we didn't tell them. And then when I did get the diagnosis, obviously we had to tell them. And it was just, you try and tell them that I'm not very well, and I've got to go into hospital and all this kind of thing and whatever. But you can't really disguise that it's cancer, because anybody who knows, if they've been to cancer ward in Stoke, it's got cancer written in huge writing right outside the front of it. Yeah. So as soon as you walk in, it's like, ta-da, oh Christ. And you're funny you were saying about shaving your hair, Andy, because I'd started around a chemo, and my hair was starting to fall out, and it was just coming out in clumps. So the four of us got together in the bathroom, and we all shaved my head together. So the girls helped shave my head.
Yeah.
And we just thought, well, you're going to have. It's a horrible thing because you want to protect your kids and you don't want them to go through it. But you feel we took him on the journey. Shave your dad's head. He's going to have chemo. He's going to look like Skeletor. He's going to look rough as anything. And they came to see me in hospital every other day, after school and stuff. I just don't know how they did it. How they went to school. And just crack on, and then they would come and see me in the afternoon or the evening after school. It was, it was bad enough when I was seeing my dad when he was ill, but for kids as well, just incredible that they managed to do it. My youngest suffered a bit with sort of, I think it's called health anxiety, because she's terrified of getting ill, and because I didn't have anything visual to show, I was just tired and all that kind of stuff, and it took her a long time to sort of get used to the fact that she hasn't got cancer, and she'll think like, oh, I don't feel very well. Do you think I've got cancer? And you're like, no, you haven't got it like that. Well, but you had it, and you're like, yeah, and you kind of feel a bit sort of, yeah, you can't just dismiss it, but you have to sort of talk to her about it and go, you'll know when you're not very well, and this isn't, you just got a cold or you've got a bug or something like that, and you'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, it's been so difficult for my wife when I was in hospital and the kids crying, and they try and put a face on when they come to see me. And when people they come to see you in hospital, you put a brave face on, and then when they walk out, you burst into tears and stuff. And it's such an emotional roller coaster. It really is, because you want to see your kids, and at the same time, you don't want to see them upset, and you want to cheer them up. And Andy, when you're on your treatment, you feel like utter crap, and then the kids probably want to play with you, and you just want to sleep and do stuff like that. It's it was.
I spoke to Sian about this time with me doing chemo. The fact I have to take tablets for 5 days, and I'm not going to be very well, and Mummy will have to do this, and I won't get you up in the morning, get you ready for school. And she understands that's what happens now when I take my chemo.
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
And for you, Darren, I mean, your son's obviously older than our kids, but you've had a bit of a double whammy. So he's had to deal with your cancer, but previous you've had to deal with his cancer, haven't you?
Yes, we've both been at both ends of the spectrum, if you like. You're trying to keep, when Ryan was going through it, we had to kind of keep the sort of show that everything was as normal, keep everything as normal as possible. Now you're going to be all right, and you're trying to build their confidence up. But you don't want to overdo it, so they think that they don't care. It's really hard getting the balance so that they know that you're really caring, you're there, but at the same time you're trying to make them feel like, oh, this is just almost normal, this is how it's going to be, sort of thing, and we're just going to carry on with it. And it's just trying to reassure them, really.
Yeah, and it's a difficult message to give as well, isn't it? Because they'll say to you, is everything going to be okay? Well, I know my girls that say to me, is everything going to be all right?
Yeah.
And you want to say yes, but you know that there is a chance it might not be all right. And you just have to say, look, you have to just choose your words very carefully, because you don't want them to turn around and go, well, you said everything will be all right and you'll be okay, and just put, we just sort of say, like, they're doing the best they can. It's going well. Your dad's doing well with the treatment and stuff. So we'll just keep going and, and that kind of thing. But they just want that reassurance, don't they? They just want that everything's going to be okay. Right. I trust my mom. I trust my dad. Whatever they tell me, I'm going to go with, and then I'll be okay.
Yeah. I think learning curve for both of us, really, in my sense, because having a child at 16 go through that, and you can see the look on his face and the worry when they're standing there ready to get off on the first day to go to start the chemo, and you think, God, I'm actually taking my child to have chemotherapy. I know what it's going to do to him as an adult, because you've seen it and you're all up with it in a sense, and then so many, like a few years down the line, and after many nights when he was bad, I'd be like sitting there and on my own and sort of more or less like praying, I suppose, and just saying, why has he got this? Why don't you just give it to me and just take it away from him? And I said that so many times, and like the old saying goes, sometimes in life you get what you ask for, and it's like, hopefully I did. It was that made it. He had the good result at the end of it, and it wasn't a bad one, and now it's been shared, and I've got that. So we kind of helped it. I think unknowingly we helped each other, because I had to try to learn to understand what he was going through, and I, like Ryan, learned the hard way. Because now I know he knows what I went through, trying to reassure him when he would need a sort of moral support. We're coming out, all right, Dad, how you doing? Yeah, and he kind of acted how I was probably acting to him, but couldn't see it at the time, you know, looking back. And the one thing that really affected him, I think, with Ryan, is he'd come in and he'd say, "Oh, Mum, so can't you move them upstairs?" And I think, because he walked in and there was like a rack with 4 little pull-out drawers, and it was just medication everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and there was all these everywhere you looked. It was a leaflet for this and a leaflet for that, Macmillan, and I think when he saw that, he said, "Mum, can't you just keep that stuff out upstairs?" Because I think it kind of not frightened him. He didn't want to see it. He didn't want to sort of run away from the fact that Dad was bad. I think maybe it just took him back to that place where he was surrounded with that himself. You know, he could kind of deal with me being bad.
Yeah.
But I think it's all the visual things, all the boxes of all the treatment stuff you had and the medication, and you know, he probably felt perhaps it should be upstairs and out of the way, sort of thing. In a way, I don't know. But yeah, that really must have bothered him at one point. I remember him saying that to his mum. I said, "Well, we've got to keep it there if it's handy, because that's, you know, your dad sits in that chair type of thing, you know." But no, he was okay with it. Like, but I think it was hard.
Yeah, there is that it still has that hold on you after you've been through it as well, doesn't it? You'll get triggers. There'll be things that will be happening in everyday life, and I mean, for one thing for me is it's just I never realised how widely it's talked about cancer. I don't know if this will make sense, but when I didn't have cancer, I didn't pay attention to the adverts on the telly, on the radio, posters everywhere about cancer and stuff. But as soon as you've been through it, it's frigging everywhere.
Yeah.
It's on the radio. You turn the radio on and it goes, "Oh, we're raising money for Macmillan and we're raising money for cancer research and all this kind of thing." And you turn on the telly and there's the Macmillan adverts, there's the cancer research adverts, there's the Stand Up to Cancer, the Bake Off thing that they do.
Yeah.
And
you run for life. And
you suddenly realise that how huge this is, and then you hear terrifying statistics where it says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it says something like 1 in 2 people will get cancer in their lifetime. You're thinking that's half the country.
Yeah. Well, do you know, Aid, with that one, when we went to see Ryan's consultant at Birmingham Children's Hospital, we sat there in the room, me, Jackie, Ryan, and his consultant, and he was chatting to him, and he sat there and he said, he tried to explain to Ryan what was going on, you know, because it must have been so much worse for someone of that age to get it than what it is when you're older, I think. And he was saying to him then, he said that what you're about to start will be with you for the rest of your life. I went, "Well, I'll be ill the rest of my life." He said, "No, you won't be ill for the rest of your life, but it will be with you for the rest of your life. Because once you've had this," and he was probably referring more to the mental side of it, in your mind, how it affects you. And he said, and the thing is, he said, at that time, he said the statistics were 1 in 3 people will get it. So he said, either myself, your mum, or your dad will get it as well. Now it's within that time from Ryan having it to me getting it, it's suddenly gone to 1 in 2.
I mean, you don't want to scare people, but you start thinking, hang on a minute, it's 4 people in my family, so who's the other one? Yeah, and
that doctor his consultant was right, because his mum's okay. We've never ever heard anything wrong that way from him. Well, they've not really been in touch with him since, but I presume that everything's okay. And yet he said 1 in 3 will have it, and I was the one that must have been the third person.
Bloody hell. I mean, is it hereditary that the cancers that you've both had? Have you had the same cancers?
No, they didn't say it's hereditary. Mine was tested. They said there's 1 in 3 things that can cause it. It's either excessive drinking, heavy smoking, or it's it will be some kind of like a virus or at some point that you've been affected by, that's laid dormant. They said it's not hereditary. You can't pass it on. You don't get it from. It's not like a sort of transmitted from being someone, kissing someone, or anything like that. They said it could be anything. You might have picked up something. Could have been dirt, something on your hand. Could have been a dirty glass. It could have been something that you got, and it's just lied dormant. And for some reason, it's just triggered all these years later. So it could be laying dormant for years.
Wow. What about you,
Could it come
Andy?
from
Sorry,
a
Darren.
partner? But he said no. He said don't even think that. He said because there is no way of telling where it came from. It could have come from a previous partner that could have had it, something there, an infection, or like a virus, that's something that's lingered and it's just gone dormant. We said there's no way of knowing, but he said it definitely isn't from drink and it definitely isn't from smoking with you.
Goodness.
So that's the way it could be, is what they found out.
What about you, Andy? Have you had any ideas where yours is originated from, or?
No, so my granddad died from he had a grade 4 brain tumour.
Right.
But they thought he got dementia. So he was in a old people's home, and he wasn't quite with it. We used to go and see him, and then obviously when he passed away, they did an autopsy on him, and he had a grade 4 brain tumour.
So they had no idea up to that point, then.
They had no idea until that point. My nan died probably a year before he died. And after my nan died, he just went into his own little world where he just sit in front of the telly and watch whatever's on the telly. He lost all of his go. We said he died of a broken heart, but he got moved to an old people's home. And then they did an autopsy and they said he got a grade 4 tumour. Now, I was told that you can't pass on brain tumours to your family, so Sienna and Roman won't get it.
Yeah.
Because it's not something you can pass on. But, like, I don't know. I often think whether he passed it down to me. I'm not quite sure. But it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, mine's a grade 3, so it's not a grade 4.
No, but it's yeah. So if I could just chat about the grades, I think that's quite interesting, really. So my understanding is that if it's a grade 3, it's in a localized area. It's in it's in one area of your body. So yours is in your brain.
Yeah.
So it's not in any other part of your body, and that's where it is.
Yeah.
Now I had a grade 4, which means that it's in multiple parts of your body.
Yeah.
So mine was in my groin, it was in my chest, I think there was a little bit in my stomach or something like that, or whatever. So yeah, I think that's kind of how they there's like a scale, isn't there really? And then I think 5. I don't know if there is a 5.
I think it only goes up to 4.
Does it go up to 4? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I might be wrong now.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody will tell me on here if I am wrong.
Yeah, it might be a Google moment, or there are other search engines out there. But yeah, there might be worth having a look and just seeing.
I've never heard of anyone saying any more than before over the last few years when I spoke to different people. I don't recall anyone ever saying, "Oh, mum's got grade 5." I've only heard like 1 to 4.
And I remember thinking to myself a lot, and I used to think, why have I got this? What have I done to deserve this? And because you get very low and you feel very sorry for yourself. Well, I certainly did. And I was thinking of all those arseholes in the world who just bring misery and upset and pain to people, and you're thinking, why can't they have got it? I've never drunk, I've never smoked, I've never done drugs. My life's pretty boring, really, isn't it? The only thing I do, my fuel is my drug is petrol. Is driving the car and coffee.
That's why you're a RIT geek.
Yeah.
I'm the same as you, Aid. I don't drink a lot. I don't take drugs. I've never smoked.
Yeah.
I was all fit and healthy before they told me I've got a brain tumour.
Yeah, and you're thinking, where's the pissing out this come from? Why have I got it? And I remember being in the ward and looking around, and the people who were there were considerably older than I was.
Yeah.
And obviously I was the best looking one there, of course. But that was just like, yeah. But yeah, they were a lot older than me, and I found it quite strange that I was there. I almost felt like I was a bit of a fraud. It was like, what am I doing here? Surely I shouldn't be here for another 20, 30 years. But no, and my consultant said to me, he says, we don't know where it's come from. And I did hear something, and I don't know if you've heard the same, where some people have said that we're all born with it, and
I've read things.
Yeah, and sometimes your body's got like an internal timer, and at some point it'll go off, and it will trigger. And yet for other people that will never happen. And then I started thinking, oh my God, when I was at school I lived on ham sandwiches, and then you hear stories of processed meat, and you think, God, if it was processed ham and wagon wheels, well, I'm buggered really, because that's what I lived on. And you start thinking of everything that's happened in your life, and you're thinking, oh, that time I did some spray work on the car and I didn't wear a mask, is that it? And like you said, Darren, if it's literally just like getting a bit of dirt, and and then that gets in your system or something, you've got no idea where it's come from. I mean, if you smoked 50 fags a day for 30 years and you get lung cancer, you can kind of think, yeah, right, you've got me there. But when you're just trying to live a normal life and just crack on with things and pay your bills and just generally be a good person, and then that happens, you're thinking, this doesn't seem very fair, really.
No, that's right. No. You can't help but think that way, can you, when you're on like a bit of a lower storage?
Yeah. And I mean, how do you deal with that, Andy? I mean, this is the third time now. You just kind of just saying to God, come on, mate, give me a break now. I think you've had enough fun. It's just...
Yeah.
I mean, how do you keep going?
I don't. It's really hard. I don't normally get downbeat about anything unless I'm really, really down.
Yeah.
Even if I'm really ill, like, you're all right? Yeah, I'm fine. When I know I'm not fine. And people are like, are you doing all right today? Yeah, I'm fine, but I'm not fine. So I always like to put a nice smiley face on.
Yeah.
To people around me, but I think Cal knows me more than anything. If I just sit there and don't say anything for ages, she knows something's wrong with me. So she'll have a little bit of a chat with me and ask me what's wrong and stuff like that. Being a bloke, you don't like to talk about your affections much, do you?
No, but I tell you what, since we've been doing this, I mean, I've found it immensely helpful. I know we mentioned this last week. I've never taught this openly about it to other blokes before. I mean, I'd talked to my dad, and I'd talked to my wife about it and that kind of thing. And I've only known you guys 4 years, and yet I feel like I've known you for 40 years, and I feel like I could talk to you about anything. If I'd got a bloody rash on my willy or something, I'd feel quite comfortable talking to you about it.
That's it, because there's no one, no, I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but we don't sort of look at anything and think, oh, we shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel odd, does it?
No. One thing I will say, Aid, I don't suffer fools anymore.
Yeah.
If there's somebody who likes to talk about going to 12 a reef and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't like him, he's a knob.
That's it.
I mean, I don't go and talk to him. So the people I had friends like towards now, I probably had like 30 friends before. Now I've only got like you and my family and people who are really close to me. But like him who lives down the road, I knew him from when I was like going down, Sainsbury's car park. He didn't. He don't even ask you how you're doing when you've been through what you've been through. So I'm like, leave it with you then.
You get to a point you think, do I really need you in my life?
Yeah.
No.
Like your son, Darren, like you can talk to him. He's just so like friendly. You can chat to him about anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he can. Yeah, he can be a great support. He's very wise, Ryan is, to be honest.
But he won't suffer fools either,
he's
will he?
very, very. Yeah, he's very knowledgeable about a lot of things, Ryan. Yeah.
So does he get that from you, Darren?
Oh yeah, absolutely, mate. Of course he does. Yeah.
Like Kelly always says, I can tell if someone is being an arse. I can just go, no, he's not a very nice person, he isn't. And normally I'm right.
Yeah, you're a good judge of character then, are you, Andy?
Judge of character, she says, yeah.
Yeah. So the fact you're still talking to me and Darren, we must be okay.
Yeah, you're fine, you pair
I get a lot. That's nice, that is, mate.
Yeah.
But it's funny you say that, because I tend to be a bit of a people watcher, really. I like to wake people up a little bit beforehand. And then someone said to Jack once, we was out somewhere, just in a pub, and we was out there just chatting away there, and this bloke says, I don't think your Robbie's all that keen on me, is he? And she went, why? I said, I don't know, I just get the feeling that he's not all that keen on me. And she said, believe me, John, if he doesn't like you, he will tell you.
Yeah.
And so I said, oh, I don't know, is your dad all right? He don't seem very happy in that. And she said, if you get to know him, you find out that he is. And she said, no. And she said this to 2 or 3 people. She said, if Darren doesn't like you, you'll know. But she said, if he does, he'll be the best friend you'll ever have.
Yeah.
And she said to a few, because I don't give my friendship very easily to people, because I can live a perfectly good, happy life without idiots in it.
Yeah, of course.
I have friends that speak to you when they had a few berries and they won't give you the time of day when they're sober. Nah, I don't need people like that.
No, you don't.
And I think when you've been through a big trauma, you think, hold on, it makes every minute of your life a lot more valuable. You appreciate it more. And why do you want to waste it on someone that don't give 2 hoots about you?
Yeah, and you find out who your real friends are, and sometimes your real friends aren't the people that you thought would be your real friends.
No,
I mean,
that's right.
I remember a situation a few years ago where some people I'd known for a while were getting together and going out for a drink, and you know, when those moments where you feel like you're obliged to go, and I didn't really want to go. I wasn't in a great place in my mind anyway. It was, and in the end, I just said to myself, I don't really want to go. I mean, when I wasn't very well, you know, most of these weren't there when I, you know, weren't there to support. You know, they never asked how Amy was, they never asked how I was, and it was just like catching up like that. And I might be feeling a bit sorry for myself and whatever, but I just thought, I don't need a friendship like this. I'm going to go and talk to you lot, and no, you're just not. You're not people I want to be around anymore. And it's and you know, it's probably me being a bit oversensitive, but you just think, yeah, maybe I need to be a bit more selective with my friendship, and it's the people who just drop you a message or say, how are you, mate? You all right? And if you said to me, how many mates have you got? And this is not just mates on Facebook. This is actually really good friends. And I think a really good friend is a person you could ring up at any time, whether it's in the middle of the night, and just say, look, shit's hit the fan. Can I come and crash on your sofa? I think that's that's what a real friend is. And the amount of people that could do that is probably not that many, you know. No. And but yeah, I know who those people are. And and you don't have really that many great friends when it comes to it, I don't think.
I think in any one period of your life, you will always be able to count how many true friends you've got on one hand.
Yeah.
I'm a strong believer that I am.
No, I think you're right.
And one of them might move away somewhere, they might move away one of them, and you might meet another one. But any more than that, people say, oh no, I've got loads of friends I have. You put it to the test, like you just said, and you'll soon find out how many friends you've really got.
And I think good friends.
That I used to go walk, and you see him every day and walk the dog when we had our outlet. We used to go over the field every morning. He'd take his dog for a walk at the same time. I've known him for years, known his family as well for years. And when I was bad, I come out of there, and it's when I could still walk and I took her over across the field, and obviously everybody around, like, no, so I do know a lot of people around here. I've lived here for a long while, like, you know, and everyone sort of knew almost instantly, you know, before I even told anybody that what was wrong. And I went walking down the street there with the dog the one day, and I saw this lad walking up, coming from the other way, and he always used to put his hand up and say, hello, you all right, yeah, sound Tarnil. And we'd have a little bit of chat across the road, like, and I'd go on the field, and he'd go the other way, like, she lived at the other side. And I'd see him coming up from the distance, and he was on the same side, and he crossed over. And he went across this other little field before he got to me. And I thought, well, that's a bit odd, he don't normally go that way. And once I come out of it, we was going up, me and Jack walked up for a drink at the Red Hill. And we just sat up there on the side, and he was out there with his missus, like, and we just got talking to him, and he said, how you doing? I said, yeah, all right, Tarnil. I said, bit surprised though. Like I said, the amount of people that I know, I said not one of them even picked the phone up and dropped me a text and like said hello to me. I said, and he knew what I was getting at. I said, I even got to see someone. I said when I was out going for a walk, and they crossed over the road and walked on the other side. I couldn't believe that. And he knew I was on about him. And he said, well, I did see you, Dad, a couple of times when I've been out. He said, but I just didn't know what to say to you.
I mean, that's just a shocking excuse, isn't it? That is just, it's just lazy.
Hello would have been okay.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even have to talk about it, do you? I mean, like Andy was saying.
You've got to say hello.
Yeah, Andy said, you'll just say, yeah, I'm okay, I'm all right. And this is the crap that people come out with just to say they can't be arsed. And at the end of the day, all you got to do is just say to someone, just say, how you doing, mate? You all right? Yeah, I'm okay. And then just talk as if they're completely normal people. And just talk about what you're doing and what they're doing, and just be normal. It's so easy, but it's made to be such a big issue. It's just utterly ridiculous.
Well, that's just what Ryan did when he used to come round. When he used to pop in, he'd just pop in and say, "Dude, that's right," and he'd come in and say, "Oh, I've been so, you know," and I'd be sitting there like this, and I'm gonna feel like shit today. I said, "Did he? Oh, right, yeah." But it was a conversation. He'd walk in and just have a little chat or a little bit around about something, and off you go. Happy days. Well, I mean, that's what you needed.
Yeah, someone just to chat to like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did the same with my dad because I'd been through the cancer, and then when my dad had cancer, we'd got something in common, and we'd just take the piss out of each other. And my dad used to say that when I was in hospital, he'd come in and see me, and obviously because I've lost all my hair and all that kind of thing, my computer keeps bonging away like anything. And I don't know if you. Yeah, it is. Sorry. Yeah, it sounds like an ice cream van, doesn't it? And there was that Russian guy. There was a Russian guy that got food poison. Not food poison. What am I on about? He got poisoned, didn't he? And then he eventually died. Litvenko or something like that.
Something like that.
So when my dad used to come in the hospital, he'd say that I looked like him. You know, and the nurses were like, "Oh my God!" And he was just, but then they knew our sort of sarcastic sense of humour, and then they'd go along with it as well, you know, and that kind of thing, and that's what you want. You want somebody to make you laugh, or someone just to take the pee, and just treat me like a normal person. I am still the same person. I'm just going through this crappy situation, and the last thing I want is you all feeling sorry for me or ignoring me. Just talk to me about anything. Tell me about your day, even if it's as boring as anything. Just tell me something to take my mind off what's going on. Rant over. I feel a bit better after that.
You feel better now, mate?
I do. Yeah, I do.
That's good, Dad. Yeah. We don't often hear you, mate, do we, Andy?
No.
No,
I'm the same as Aid on that. If I don't talk to them, I'd be like, well, they haven't bothered with me, so why do I want to bother with them?
That's right. Yeah, time's too valuable.
Yeah. And a friendship shouldn't be hard work, should it?
I mean, and the people I do choose to be friends would be like, you know, like you pair. You just talk about anything that we've been through.
Yeah.
But like, if they haven't been through cancer, you're like, so you try and have a normal conversation with them, and then you're like, I don't know what to say now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you just said there, Andy. That's just class. Well, the saying for it is an awkward silence, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the difference is when we've been out for our days out and that, if you suddenly want to sit there and just gaze out the window while A's chucking us around the bends at ridiculous speeds and all that sort of malarkey.
Whatever.
Look out the window, don't we? We don't say, "Oh, what's up with you, Dad?" Like, you're right there. Well, you're quiet today. It never gets said because it doesn't. It's not an issue.
No.
Equally as when someone's chatting away, we don't say, "Oh, shut your mouth and give your arse a chance. Let someone else have a go." You know what I mean? It never gets said, does it? So it's both ways. This is why the friendship works.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I said to Jack the other day when we come back from there. And I said, I'm so pleased, like, with what happened on Wednesday. This is a bit I can't say too much about. But it really good on what happened on Wednesday. And I said, Jack, seeing everyone there, seeing my dad coming out and not being out for such a long time. And when I saw, saw Andy and Aid, I said, absolutely made up. And I said, when I went over and said hello to them, I said, we had a hug, like just like you would do with a brother.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I said that is said to Jackie. I said that is the sort of friendship that we've got between us.
Yeah.
I said the bond is really strong and just keeps getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it does. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, I do like Andy more than you, Darren, but you know, it's best you know about it.
That's just there, isn't it? You know, we can't help who we're attracted to, whether it be wrong or right, is it really? You won't make me jealous, you know. You won't make me jealous. No, I'm not a jealous person. No.
Right, okay. We had a little bit of a chat in the week, didn't we? And we're going to because this gentleman is the last podcast of the year, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yes, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. It's the last one of the year because there's this thing called Christmas, something called Christmas or something like that.
Come on, Ebenezer, get the words out.
Yeah, something called Christmas. I've never heard of it before. It's part of these newfangled things. So yeah, we're going to take a bit of a break, aren't we? And we're probably going to come back. I think we're going to record on the 2nd, and it comes out on the 3rd of January, and we'll be back on and that kind of thing. And it got me thinking about Christmas and birthdays and stuff. And what are car-related things that you used to have or you asked for at Christmas and birthdays? I mean, did you have time to have a bit of a think about some of these things? Because we're all from slightly different eras, aren't we? Would you be classed as a 70s child, Darren? You were more of a 70s child and I was an 80s?
Yes, I was born in 1964, so sort of like the first 10 years you just play and what have you. So sort of like mid to late 70s, really.
Yeah. And Andy was born about 20 years ago because he's just a little nipper, bless him.
Yeah, he was born. Yeah, that's why he's the hot axe man, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, he's an 80s boy and I'm a 70s boy, and well, I'll get the ball rolling because I had a good think about this. I got this. So I came up with 5 things that were car related that I really, really loved, and I can't remember if I had them for birthday or Christmas. The first one was when I was very, very young and I was a toddler, and I had one of those Fisher-Price garages.
Yeah.
I don't know if.
Where you used to go around and put it on the top car park, and you used to go around a little spot.
Yes, and there was a little handle that you would turn, and you put the car on, and it would spin round on the top.
Yeah.
And you had a lift down the right-hand side, and then there was a ramp down the left. Yeah. That was my Fisher-Price garage. I mean, Amy is cursing me because that night I was looking on Marketplace thinking, oh, I could buy one. So I'm
get one now.
I'm so tempted to buy one and just hope the girls have kids at some point and then I can get out of the loft and play with them. But oh yeah, so that was my first one, was my Fisher-Price garage, and I loved that, and I remember playing that for so long. It was brilliant.
There's one I ain't got to talk about. That's one of mine off my list.
Then I had
you get all 5. Why can you just choose 2 or 3? You're going to say all the 5 that me and Andrew would have said.
All right, go on then. Come on then, smart ass. You say something.
Sorry to stop you. I'll shut up.
No, come on. No, share it with the rest of the class. Come on.
Now. I'm eating the biscuit now.
Right, okay. Andy, do you want to pipe up or do you want me to say another?
So when me and Callie first got together.
Are you playing the maracas, Darren?
No, it's my biscuit coming out of the packet.
Yeah, can you make a bit more noise, please?
Sorry.
Yeah. Useless. Absolutely useless. Trying to maintain professionalism, and we have to put up with this.
Yeah. So Callie would have been 16, I would have been 21, and I just bought my E36 M3, and she had obviously used to take loads of pictures of them, have pictures here and there, but she took a picture I took of it to somebody who was drawing cars, sketched a photo of it, and she gave it me for Christmas.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a good. I've still got it in the loft somewhere.
Was it a cartoony thing, or was it like a sort of?
It was a picture of the car as it was in the picture.
Yeah.
She gave me the picture on the framed photo as well. Yeah, no, good, really good present that was.
Oh, that's nice.
Really good. Nice.
What sort of toys would you have had as a kid then? Were you into cars as a kid? Did you have all the Matchbox cars and all that kind of stuff?
Do you know what? When I was young, like really young, Mum said she should sit me in front of a toy box. I had a wooden toy box, and I'd empty the toy box out, play with the toys, and put more back in. She said that's all I did. Sat by the toy box, took all the cars out, and I mean we're talking like really, really old tractors and old cars, ones with no tyres on, that sort of thing. Messed with them all, put them all back. So that's all I did when I was young. Sat by a toy box and got the toys out, put them back in.
Oh, this is where I cue the sort of the sad violin music, don't I? Now at this point, yeah.
I don't think there's one particular toy that I had when I was young that was my favourite toy, because it was everything in this box. I can still see the box now, the wooden box.
Oh, bless you.
But yeah, because there was three of us when we were young, and my dad was a lorry driver, my mum stayed at home. We never had much money when we were kids.
Yeah.
So when my older brother had a bike, I had it, and then my younger brother had it. So everything was
passed me down, yeah.
Passed me down, yeah. So this toy box was what my brother had, what my younger brother had. But yeah, it was good.
Oh, brilliant.
Family times I remember when I was young. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's the most important thing, isn't it?
But Roman loves cars. Absolutely loves cars and tractors.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So this year we just bought him loads of Hot Wheel cars and the garages and stuff like that. He's just going to be. We've made like a snap-on room for him with a snap-on box and bits and bobs. He's going to love that.
Oh, great, yeah.
Oh, no. He doesn't listen to the podcast, does he, Andy? Because you've just blown it.
He does love his cars. That's the first thing he started saying when he was young. Cars, cars, cars.
Oh, good.
Like this morning, he came up and he wanted car socks. And I found one. I couldn't find the other one, so he had to wear odd socks today because he wanted to wear his car one.
Oh, good lad. He's going to be a petrol head then, or it won't be petrol heads then, will it? Will it be electric heads? I don't think we'd call it that. I don't know. That's a good point. Yeah, what would they be called?
What would we call
them? Anyway, okay. Another toy that I had. Do you ever remember the Matchbox track that you would stick together and then you'd have like a loop the loop and you'd have like a trigger and you could fire the car? Yeah, I think it was called Matchbox Streaks or something like that. Yeah, I used to run the set of that from the top of the stairs right down to the bottom, do a loop-the-loop. And
the track, wasn't it?
Yeah. My mum always used to complain because the cars would come flying off and they'd crash into the glass panel in the front door, and she was like, "You're going to break that one of these days." And and I never did, but that was another fond one. And this will be one that you'll appreciate, Darren. I had a Scale Extric set once, and it was the Rover set. It was two.
No way.
Yeah, it was the Rover V8 Championship. It was called, and there were two Rovers. There was one with like a PWG livery on it, and then there was one with Triplex livery on it. And I had the Racing Rover set. I think because I quite like Tony Pond and the rallying and that kind of stuff, and that's why I got the set there. But yeah, the Scale Extric.
Yeah. I used to love the Scale Electrics. I've got another Scale Electric in the garage, in the loft in the garage.
Oh, okay.
All different sorts, yeah. And I bought one, actually like one of the ones for the models, and I checked the models, and that's actually a Scale Electric, that is.
I always used to find that there was so much excitement to play Scale Extric, and by the time you built the track, you'd had enough and you were bored. Or is that just me?
That's just you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's that conversation over. Brilliant.
I'll never just get bored that bit. No.
Any other sort of
that was the big thing, that was Scale Electrics used to build it all underneath the beds.
Yeah, definitely.
Never used beds that went all to the floor, did you? Those on legs, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like a metal frame bed we used to have, and it was so you could build it so it went under there. So like to you, it was going through a tunnel. Your imagination.
Yes. Yeah, and you get some of the cars would have lights, wouldn't they, as well?
Yeah, lights.
Yeah. But you had to put the track together properly, didn't you? Because if the little metal bits didn't quite line up, the cars would get stuck in it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That was frustrating. But if you were really good, you could sort of get a bit of a slide on as well, couldn't you? Get the back end out. Yeah. Good old days.
Brilliant ones, some great tracks.
Good ones, that was. And one that was the earliest memory, or no, probably not the earliest memory. Do you remember those steering wheels that you could get in the back of the car that you'd put on the back of the driver's seat so the kids could sit in the back and pretend they were steering and driving?
Yeah.
the toy wheels, and you'd have like a little indicator stalk on there, and you could pretend that you were driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those, and I absolutely loved that. So yeah. But yeah, those are sort of my top toys. There was a couple of Tomy things I had. There was a Tomytronic game which you held up to your eyes, and you had like a racing car simulator, and there was a Tomy dashboard as well with a little steering wheel. And yeah. But other than that, it was just loads of cars, loads of toy cars. I'd always buy Matchbox and Hot Wheels. Yeah. I used to play on the windowsill in my bedroom, and I used to use talcum powder as snow. I don't know if you ever did that. Pour talcum powder all over the windowsill, and which is great fun. But then on a cold day or a hot day, you'd get loads of condensation, and then it would all just turn to mush. And I just remember getting a rollicking for having all this crap on the windowsill. But yeah, talcum powder was great for snow with cars. Yeah, definitely.
That's your start of your rallying stage then, wasn't it, when you started doing that?
Do you know what? It probably was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Probably.
That was it, yeah. And I used to love play with them in the dirt, in the garden, and in the sand, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh dear, I'd have to dig out my cars now.
Yeah.
Dig out my cars.
Great, yeah.
Any others you can remember, Darren? Any other toys as a kid?
Well, I think the top two really was what you just said, for the wheels of the track. I mean, I think everybody kind of had that, and then the big garage. They must have been the main ones. Other than that, there was mainly just your Matchbox and your Corgi things, weren't they, really?
Yeah.
And we used to have just boxes of them. There was just hundreds of them.
Yeah,
making up all your own roads and stuff, just loads of them.
I mean, it's easy to say, but I do think that toys were probably better in our era. Just there was no electric, there was no sort of no iPads, no phones, no apps to download. You could just immerse yourself in these toys, and like you say, you could just play for hours, and you get your mates round as well, and you just
because your game was, you had to use your imagination, didn't you? When you see kids doing it occasionally now, you think, their imagination, what they can actually see, and how they're talking as if there's other people around them, and they're probably actually on their own.
Yeah,
that's probably what we look like.
Yeah. And do you know what? If you take the kids away from their phone and their tablets, and you introduce them to something like this, you'll be surprised at how quickly they enjoy it. They can completely forget, and they'll just they just want to, like with the track, you'd have to make the track yourself. So you're thinking your imagination, you're thinking, all right, we can put a bend there, and then we can do this, and we do the loop, and the fun is just putting it together, isn't it? And then the scale X trick, and it's it's.
There was another one that came out like a scale electric. I can't think what it was called now, but it just wasn't as good.
TCR.
It was like a cheaper version, and they mainly did a lot of like little figure 8 tracks.
Yeah.
And it looked like, when you see it on telly, it's going to be absolutely enormous thing. And you got it out of the box, and it was probably about 3 foot long. And like, it just went round in this little sort of a little figure 8 it would do, and it just didn't cut it really. The cars never stayed on the tracks, and the little clip-on bits you used to put for the barriers was always falling off, and it was really. It was just a sort of poor man's Scale Electric, really.
Yeah, if you have a look, Darren, I think it might be TCR. That was something similar at the time. Yeah, if you have a look on that, because I remember deciding which one I was going to have, and Scale Electric and TCR was a bit like VHS and Betamax, really, wasn't it? It was which way you're going to go, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Anything else from you, Andy? Any other?
I remember having, we all shared a Scale Electrics.
Which one did you have? What set did you have?
This is what I can remember. It was a lorry and a police car.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It wasn't Smokey and the Bandit, but it was that kind of...
Oh, it's like a themed one then. Like,
yeah, but I can't remember what it was.
Was it the police chase set? No, that looks like a more modern thing. Oh, right. I'm having a look online. Scale Electric lorry. Was it a Golf? Was it a racing lorry? No,
just like a normal lorry. It might have been American, but it might not.
Was it like a Juggernaut with a low loader, and you could put cars on the back of it?
It was like a lorry.
It was just like a big
back on it.
Wow.
It was just a big box thing, wasn't it?
I'll do some searching, and I'll let you know when we're next on the air what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your dad, what it was called.
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant. 'Cause the dangerous thing is that you have a look at these online and then you see them and then you go, oh, it'd be great to have that again. And then you think, and it's dangerous. I can see why people end up just buying all their old toys again because it just brings back great memories and stuff. But I suppose if you get them back, you might look at them and you might think, oh God, it's not as great as I thought it was.
No, that's it.
Yeah, but that was just so much fun when we were young, setting that up and using that. But obviously, it was between three of us, so
Yeah.
there was always one person left out.
Oh bless.
Yeah.
Normally me, because I was middle child. So, yeah, I've been playing the toy box.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. They just
it.
shut you in the toy box. That's what they did, wasn't it? They took the toys out and shut you in there, didn't they, Andy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all coming out now. Bless you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably sort of thinking probably about bringing this to a close. I just thought I'd say a little something to people out there who are, Christmas is obviously a time of family getting together with family and doing all that kind of stuff. But it's a difficult time as well, isn't it? When you're going through cancer or you've lost somebody through cancer and stuff. I mean, I've lost my dad recently, and that's sort of knocked me about and knocked me for six. And when you have these sort of key moments of the year, it can be quite emotional. And I just wanted to sort of say that, that there's a lot of people go through a lot of crap at the moment, and people who are going to have cancer over Christmas, or they've lost someone or something like that. And just to sort of say that, you're not on your own. It's us three, we've been through that, haven't we, gents? We've been there.
Yeah.
We've been through those difficult times, and it is hard work, and there are times where you just feel like, I can't do this anymore, but just keep going, and I know it's easy for me to say, but you've got to keep going. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Don't let this thing beat you. And have a cry, feel down for a bit, and then think, bollocks to it, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to keep going, because it won't be like this forever. I mean, I remember being in hospital, being very ill, and my dad said to me, it won't be like this forever, and it won't be. And a month will become a year, and a year become 2 years, and it can soon become a distant memory, really. And just to keep your spirits up, and if you are going through this crap over Christmas, we know what you're going through, and just hope you can enjoy Christmas. And if you are feeling down, just listen to us talking nonsense. That you can't get much better than that, really, can you? But
that's it, mate.
Yeah, and I'm sure I speak for all of us when we wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and and we're going to be back on the 3rd. So, eat loads of crap, have a great Christmas, and obviously, like we say always, if you can like and subscribe and comment and email us and whatever, and we're gonna hopefully keep this going on to next year, and the followers will ramp themselves up. And before I go, gents, shall I give you an update on viewings?
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah. So we'll end on a high. So we wanted to reach 100, didn't we?
We did,
Yes.
yeah.
This is on YouTube. We wanted to get 100. We wanted to get 100 listens. We've had 120, gentlemen.
Oh wow.
We've done it. We've hit the 100. So
20 more.
Yeah, and 20 more. And I've already got a neighbour over the road I've been chatting to about it. He listens to the podcast, and he's enjoying it as well. And and hopefully word of mouth and we'll get out there and people will start listening, and we're talking to various people, aren't we, about just spreading the word and just trying to help people just to talk about it and just listen to our experiences, and hopefully help other people get through this crap. And we are going to beat this cancer thing. Don't know when we'll beat it completely, but we're going to kick its arse, and we're going to come out on the positive side. We're going to.
Yeah, and hopefully in the new year we might get maybe a couple of people that have been listening. I've said it a few times in the past, just to drop a line in or pop on and have a chat, say hello. That would be great to hear from anybody else.
Yeah, just get somebody's experiences and just to get a different view. And even if somebody comes on and tells us we're talking nonsense and puts us straight, it would just be great to just to speak to like-minded people who have been through something like that.
Definitely.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, right, gentlemen.
Okay, mate.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yes, and you. Merry Christmas, guys.
Yeah, and we shall speak again in the new year. And like I say, I think the new podcast will be out on the 3rd. We'll get together on the 2nd, gents. And eat loads of food that's bad for you. Drink loads of bad stuff. Watch loads of crap telly. And just generally have a great time. And we'll catch up in the new year.
That's the way. Yeah. All the best.
Take care.